I feel bad for Hailey, honestly. He hates her.
Might be right about him not liking her very much.
Why would you publicly admit that you belittled your wife to millions of people? Hailey Bieber was announced to be the cover star of Vogue this month, and Justin Bieber congratulated her in honestly the weirdest way possible.
It was supposed to be her moment, her milestone, her triumph. Hailey Bieber had just achieved one of the biggest professional feats of her career, her first solo Vogue cover. A massive win not just for her modeling journey, but for her independence, her brand, her identity. No longer just Justin's wife, no longer just a tabloid fixture. She was Hailey Baldwin Bieber, cover star, entrepreneur, mother, and woman reclaiming her narrative. But in true celebrity plot twist fashion, her glow-up moment was suddenly, and inexplicably, overshadowed by Justin. Instead of simply saying, "Congratulations, baby, you did it," Justin Bieber decided to post something else. Something that turned heads, raised eyebrows, and sent fans into a frenzy. On the very day of Hailey's major cover drop, Justin took to Instagram, not to shower his wife with love and support, but to reminisce about the time he told her she'd never get a Vogue cover.
In a new Instagram post, he posted the cover, which Hailey looks gorgeous in, and said, "Yo, this reminds me when Hailey and I got into a huge fight. I told Hales that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Yikes, I know, so mean. For some reason, because I felt disrespected, I thought I gotta get even. I think as we mature and realize that we're not helping anything by getting even, we're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection. So baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover. Sadly, I was mistaken."
Yes, you heard that right. Yes. The perfect way to celebrate your wife's career highlight, reminding the world that you once underestimated her dreams. Nothing screams "I love you" like narrative sabotage. What could have been a sweet, supportive post quickly spiraled into a self-centered apology monologue full of reflections on personal growth, revenge, and connection. An entire essay that felt less like a celebration of Hailey's moment and more like an unsolicited confessional from a man desperate to make it about himself. Bestie, just say congrats. Sadly mistaken is diabolical. How do you mess up "I'm proud of you" this badly? Was this an honest mistake from a husband who simply doesn't understand timing? Or was it yet another case of a man centering himself in a woman's success story? Because what came next only added fuel to the fire. Facing a tidal wave of backlash in the comments, Justin quietly edited his post.
Not him changing his caption. So in case you missed it, this morning Justin Bieber posted a photo celebrating his wife's cover of Vogue, as you can see here. However, this was not the caption this morning.
Gone was the lengthy, self-reflective apology. In its place, a string of emojis. Just emojis. No words. No clarification. Just a cryptic assortment of little icons, like a teenage boy trying to play damage control without saying anything at all. The edit was supposed to fix things. Instead, it poured gasoline on a public relations dumpster fire. You hijacked her moment. This caption was a disaster. Imagine finally getting your Vogue cover and your husband posts that. The internet responded with a mix of outrage and exhaustion. Many couldn't believe that a man, married to one of the most visible women in fashion, would use her spotlight to shine a light on his past wrongs, then backtrack with emojis. And yet, through all of this, Hailey stayed silent. In her actual Vogue interview, far away from the chaos of her husband's Instagram feed, Hailey offered a rare, vulnerable window into her life. She opened up about the challenges of postpartum life, calling it the most sensitive time she's ever gone through. And during that delicate recovery, online rumors about her marriage were swirling like vultures, relentless whispers of divorce, misery, and distance. In that context, this Vogue cover wasn't just a photo shoot. It was a reclamation, a declaration of self. A woman stepping into her power, just to have her husband resurrect an old fight on Instagram and make it weird. So, what exactly was Justin thinking? Well, in a second Vogue feature, possibly realizing the backlash was worse than anticipated, Justin tried to clean things up. He called marrying Hailey the smartest thing he's ever done, and gushed over their new baby, Jack Blues Bieber. He said he was finally living the life he always dreamed of. But by then, the damage had already been done. Because the question on everyone's lips wasn't just about one post. It was deeper. Was Justin trying to be honest? Or was this just narcissism dressed up as vulnerability? Was it a genuine apology? Or a performative one? He made it about himself. It's emotional manipulation. Or maybe he just doesn't know how to be in the background for once. Even the most intimate moments become public property. And this episode with Justin and Hailey has reignited age-old questions. Can relationships survive when one person keeps stepping into the spotlight of the other? Is honesty always admirable, or does timing matter more? And when is an apology just another form of control? Because what we saw this week wasn't just a social media blunder. It was a clash of egos, timing, and personal boundaries, served up in real time, for millions to dissect. Hailey Bieber's Vogue cover was supposed to be a moment of light, of celebration and personal victory. Instead, it turned into a cautionary tale. For Hailey Bieber, gracing the cover of Vogue should have been a shining, career-defining moment. A personal and professional triumph, unambiguous proof of her evolution from celebrity spouse to respected model, entrepreneur, and fashion icon in her own right. But instead of basking in the glow of public admiration, Hailey found her victory overshadowed by her own husband. On the day his wife achieved that very milestone, Justin chose to remind the world that he once doubted her. The timing? Impeccably bad. The delivery? Disastrous. And the impact? It shifted the entire conversation away from Hailey's success and straight onto Justin's self-inflicted guilt trip. What could have been a proud moment turned into a PR nightmare. Rather than congratulating his wife with grace and sincerity, Justin appeared to center himself, his growth, his past mistakes, his emotional journey. And while he did cap it off with a "you already know this, but forgive me," the tone struck many as off. It wasn't just awkward. It was deeply tone-deaf. It felt like Justin was hijacking Hailey's moment to perform his own redemption arc. To make matters worse, he followed this up with a confusing edit, deleting his lengthy caption and replacing it with emojis. Just emojis. No words. No context. Nothing. The public backlash was immediate and brutal. "Bestie, just say congrats, I love you," or something. What a disastrous caption to celebrate your wife. Sadly mistaken? That phrasing is diabolical. It didn't read as love. It didn't read as maturity. It read as damage control wrapped in self-centered overexposure. While Justin fumbled publicly, Hailey stayed silent. No counterpost. No passive-aggressive story. Just stillness. But in her Vogue interview, the depth of her recent emotional experience came through loud and clear. She described the postpartum period as the most emotionally vulnerable time of her life. A time already fraught with hormonal shifts, exhaustion, and adjustment, made even worse by endless online speculation about the state of her marriage, rumors of divorce, whisper campaigns about unhappiness, constant scrutiny. She called it such a mind that she couldn't even begin to explain it. This wasn't just about a magazine cover. This was about reclaiming her identity in the midst of emotional chaos. About standing tall after being digitally dissected. About finally having a moment that was hers alone. Until it wasn't. Until Justin made it, once again, about him. In a follow-up Vogue feature, likely in response to the backlash, Justin attempted a soft pivot. He praised Hailey, calling her the smartest decision I ever made. He gushed about their baby, Jack Blues Bieber, and projected a warm, family-oriented image. But by then, the damage had been done. Fans were already asking the hard questions. Was his original post an honest, clumsy attempt at vulnerability? Or was it a calculated move, subtle, perhaps even subconscious, to center himself and steal the thunder from his wife's big day? Was this about growth? Or was it just another episode in the long saga of celebrity oversharing? The internet couldn't stop dissecting it. What was meant to be a private sentiment was suddenly front-page gossip, fodder for public debate. This entire episode is a case study in the dangers of celebrity transparency. In the age of social media, even well-intentioned posts can spiral out of control. Apologies blur into ego trips. Support can be mistaken for sabotage. And a moment meant to lift someone up can accidentally, or deliberately, cast a shadow instead. For Hailey, this should have been a breakthrough, a defining moment of independence. And while some may say Justin was trying to show growth or vulnerability, the reality is his actions inadvertently eclipsed her spotlight. And that's the tragedy. Hailey's quiet composure amidst this storm speaks volumes. She didn't clap back. She didn't escalate. She let her success and her Vogue cover speak for itself. But we're left with one lingering question. Was Justin's post really about love, or was it about control? Justin Bieber may have intended to celebrate his wife's career-defining moment. But what unfolded instead was a masterclass in how not to publicly support your partner, especially when the world is watching. The caption wasn't just a backhanded apology. It framed her success as a correction to his judgment. A redemption arc for him. But it didn't stop there. The post meandered through Justin's personal reflections on maturity, growth, and the futility of revenge. Lofty sentiments, yes, but they had little to do with Hailey's achievement and everything to do with Justin's own emotional evolution. As Hailey was basking in the hard-earned glow of a career milestone, her husband's post read more like a therapy session than a congratulatory note. Instead of lifting her up, he made her victory an appendix to his own redemption story. And the internet was not having it. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Critics flooded the comment section. Some pointed out the tone-deaf timing. Others couldn't believe he brought up an old fight during her big moment. Comments like, "Bestie, just say congrats. I love you. Something." Sadly mistaken is diabolical in this sentence. What a disastrous caption to congratulate someone. It was a masterclass in missing the moment. Then, as if the situation wasn't already spiraling, Justin made a quiet, almost stealthy change. Without addressing the controversy or offering any clarification, he edited the post. The long, rambling caption was gone. In its place, just a string of cryptic emojis. No words, no apology, no context. If the original post was tone-deaf, this edit came off as dismissive, baffling, and borderline flippant. To many, it felt like a tacit admission of guilt without the dignity of accountability. And with that, the firestorm only intensified. The narrative had shifted entirely. What should have been a universal celebration of Hailey's solo Vogue cover was now a headline about Justin's Instagram meltdown. Through all of this, Hailey Bieber remained silent. Gracefully, even powerfully, silent. She offered no response, no clapback, no social media subtweet. Just poised composure in the face of a very public mess. But what many didn't realize was that behind her silence lay a much deeper emotional context. In her Vogue interview, conducted before Justin's Instagram gaffe, Hailey opened up about the profound challenges she's faced, particularly postpartum. She described it as the most sensitive time I've ever gone through in my life, and added that the nonstop speculation and rumors about her marriage created a psychological burden she found impossible to put into words. The stress, the scrutiny, the constant online dissection of her life and relationship, it was crushing, which is what made Justin's ill-timed post feel even more jarring. Hailey wasn't just celebrating a professional milestone. She was reclaiming a piece of herself, standing tall in the aftermath of personal struggle, reinventing her identity and power while the world watched. His post, no matter the intention, risked undermining all of that.